So it's a beautiful autumn day, the end of October 2019. I'm out walking my dogs, and I thought I would just talk a little bit more about some mixing advice I would give to inexperienced producers.
You know, I guessed that you would be the only one who would dare to come here. You've got courage.
So I think one of the most important pieces of advice that I can give is for you to
have faith in yourself,
to trust your instincts,
your decision making, that you trust your ears.
You know, I guessed that you would be the only one who would dare to come here.
And that you
trust your musical tastes, because each of us have quite a diverse and unique set of musical tastes, and this is what is going to give us our
characteristic
sound or our
unique musical voice,
which is something that we should all be striving to find. It's not something that I think I've necessarily found myself.
If only...
And maybe it's a constantly ongoing process, as is the case with a lot of things that we try and learn in this lifetime.
A game of chess.
So, another thing that I think is quite important, other than coffee, which is also quite useful.
If anyone tells you that there are hard and fast rules that you absolutely cannot break,
don't listen to them. It's not true.
There are certain guidelines that will definitely help you in your music production, but you should never let the fear of doing something wrong stop you from experimenting, as this is often when you will find the most creative and interesting things, and quite often you will stumble upon happy accidents, which is how a lot of great music is made.
Beware the following people.
Anyone who claims they know it all, they do not. Anyone who claims that you are wrong, simply because your way is not their way.
Okay. So, do I know it all? Definitely not. So, should you listen to someone that claims they don't know it all? Definitely not. Well, you can always listen to someone.
But remember, a wise man knows not only that he knows less than he suspects there is to know, but he also suspects that there is more to know than he will ever know to comprehend.
Is there any other advice I would give about mixing? Well, I'm not going to get into any specifics because there are just far too many variables, but in general terms, one of the things I would suggest that you try is not really even a mixing technique. One of the most important things is actually the arrangement of your piece of music. Often the arrangement is overlooked in terms of its importance to the type of production that you can achieve. It doesn't seem to be talked about that much by other YouTubers, and at least in the mixing tutorials that I've seen or read, the arrangement is key to get that right before you even consider trying to mix anything. If you're struggling with your mixes, try removing certain elements of your track, sort of one by one and in combination with each other, Sorry, I'm just realised I'm out walking the dogs, and I've just realised I'm kind of getting a little bit lost. Well, not lost, but... And try and pare back your track as much as possible. Go back to basics. Remove any plugins that you've got that are there for purely mix reasons. Chasing squirrels again, and just listen to your raw track. So by removing elements of your track, what you're doing is you're trying to determine on a sound by sound basis exactly what is necessary to make your piece of music work. Anything that you remove and you find that the song does not suffer as a result, then consider that sound superfluous. So how will this help your music productions and your mixing woes? Well, if you strip back your productions to the bare essentials, you have far fewer elements to try and get to grips with. And it should make your job in terms of mixing much easier. You will hopefully find that you have to work a lot less hard to try and get everything to sit together nicely and to be clearly audible, with less elements to try and juggle and balance. Hopefully it should give you some freedom to be a little bit more creative.
Can you find it?
Sometimes you might get sort of emotionally attached to a particular sound. Maybe it's the starting idea that sparked the rest of the track, and so you feel like it's sort of integral. But often, by muting various parts of your music, you can actually determine whether they are adding anything to the overall sound of the piece of music. And the Chunkelmeisters. But sometimes you'll find that these things are not actually benefiting the tune as much as you thought they were. You have to be somewhat ruthless. It's going to be a lot easier. It's going to save you time, and it should hopefully demonstrate what's working in your tune and what hasn't been working in your tune. With some of the best sounding productions that you'll hear on the radio or in a club or wherever it might be, you will often find that they're quite simplistic and they have very few elements. Sorry, just checking my dog's alright. You alright, Dee Dee? Good girl. And I don't think it's a coincidence that these pieces of music that use very few sounds also happen to be the ones that sound like they're the best produced. And I think this is a very important thing to consider. I don't see an awful lot of other people talking about. So arrangements of your tunes, very, very important in my opinion. And I think it's something that is worthwhile exploring. So another quick piece of advice as well. Take breaks from your music. Give your ears a rest. Give your eyes a rest as well from the screen. And also give your mouse clicking fingers and your wrists and everything, neck, shoulders, back, give yourself a rest. As someone that suffers with repetitive strain injury, I know how frustrating that can be and limit what you would like to do. Get out in nature, breathe some fresh air. When you come back to it with fresh ears and a fresh mind, the answers will be more obvious. I don't know, do something that you enjoy, but seriously, take breaks. Hopefully that is of some use to some of you, and just thinking about things in a slightly different way and about your processes may help you to approach your mixes from a slightly different point of view and maybe achieve some better results. I hope so.
But remember,
having humility and being honest about what you know and what you don't know, and accepting that there will always be something left to learn, will stand you in good stead. Thank you guys for watching. As always, if you can click, share, subscribe, all the rest of it, I would very much appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Peace out.
The other thing I wanted to say is that if you're wondering why the audio doesn't match up to the video, that's because I'm overdubbing this in post. And now you're probably wondering, how on earth did I know in advance to record this bit of video so that I could overdub it in post?
You must think first, right? Before you can defeat me.
Oh shit, I'm still recording. 26 minutes? Alright, that's what's left.